If you're listening to Megan and Malika, the best single duo on the airwaves, welcome back to Tinder Talks.
Last week, we had our friend Quinn on to talk about first impressions, what you should be doing on your apps when you're, making your profile, and what you really shouldn't be doing.
And we had an O'Neilly challenge. I don't remember what it was.
I think Quinn made the challenge for us. In my head, it was something to do with you should do something you've wanted to do in a long time, but that could be complete BS.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was good.
As an update to why we've been kind of spaceheads about this lately, O'Neill has a summer job that causes him to work when we record.
Yeah.
So we don't, and
we're bad at them in general, but now organizing them ourselves, even though
it wasn't our job though originally. It's never been our job to make the O'Neilly challenges or to keep track of stuff like that, because O'Neill is our producer. When we say O'Neill's our producer, we mean it. He edits our stuff and he keeps track of when we're in the booth and everything. He actually produces the show.
I know.
So without him, me and Malika have been in charge.
Literally scrambling. He's actually so bad.
We suck so much.
Making sure there's a reservation, getting the doors open. That's not our job. And
we still do a good, I don't know. You guys might think we do a terrible job, but I think as far as we get guests together and then I do the research. So we still have our shit together on top of, that stuff. But the other stuff we don't. So whatever the challenge was, you guessed it, I didn't do it because I never do it. I never do it because I suck. I don't.
Well, I assume I also didn't do it because I don't remember, but there's a huge chance that we did do it. So I think I'm going to try, though, in the future to really, when we start this back up again.
We should have just written it down.
I know we suck. We never write them down. I wrote this one down. It's fine. Well, anyway, how have you been since our last episode? Have you been single savvy or single sad?
I have a hard time answering this question. Here's why. I don't think I've put much effort into it. Because I've been so busy. I'm taking summer classes right now, which are over next week, thank God. So I haven't had a lot of time to dip my toe in other pools of things. I've flirted with a few people on, Tinder and stuff like that, but I haven't really put effort into going to see anyone. But honestly, I'm okay with that because I'm kind of busy. And also I'm leaving. So I think I'm probably going to start back up again dating in the fall, most likely because I'm only here for another week. I did get a cool job though. Malika knows about that. I got a cool job, so I'm leaving Boston after I finish my classes, and then I'm gonna go home for 2 weeks, see my parents, and then I am shipping out, going to Scotland to work for a company and live with my sister. So maybe I'll meet some British men.
Oh.
I probably won't, though, because
I probably will.
I'll meet them, and that physically I will introduce myself to British men, but I don't know if I'll start seeing any British men.
Do you think British men find American accents attractive?
I don't think they find them unattractive.
I mean, to be fair, you are from Scotland.
That is true. I'm technically from there. I just don't have an accent.
No.
I think that'd be a better question. I could ask my sister, because, she has an American accent, but she's been living in the UK for around 6 years now. I don't think they dislike it, because I do still think there's some level of ooh, it's different, which is why we really like British accents, because it's different.
I actually don't like British accents.
Really?
It depends. I really like, and my cousin who is from London explains it really well, where she says, when you come into London, London's a very bustling city, but it's like being in New York almost, where there's so many people from different places.
A lot of times you don't actually meet.
And a lot of the time, in my opinion, the British accents that I mostly encountered being there sounded Jamaican to me. Completely Jamaican. I couldn't understand. I think a part of it was their slang and their tone was just a very different
English accent.
But she said that the people who sound posh, when you do the Harry Potter accent, being posh means that you're from a posh area, and that's all. She was like, people don't sound like that unless you're from there, and so that's why you don't really encounter it.
Which isn't something you get. Weird. I'm sure that there are definitely some places, especially I think in the South, if you have a Southern accent, that people always assume things about you.
Yeah.
But as far as poshness goes, there's only so many places where that applies.
Yeah.
But in the UK, it is a huge. Your accent tells people so much about where you're from, because if you have a posh English accent, you're posh.
You have money.
Yeah, you're from fucking Wimbledon or some shit. Or if you have, a rougher accent, if you're from Manchester or something, that's the Mancunian accent's really specific, which is medium posh. And then, what am I thinking? Cockney. That's a whole other thing. But in Scotland, see, there's less of a mix of people. Most everyone is Scottish, and if you're not Scottish, you're probably like English or Welsh or Irish. So
That's fun.
you meet a lot of people. And even then, there are a lot of different Scottish accents.
I was told that when I was in London, which isn't the same as Scotland, obviously, but when I was in the UK, a lot of people commented on my accent, and I said, why do you think American accents are interesting? And they're like, well, the thing is, we see it, we watch American media. It's not different to us because we're so ingrained in it. But she was like, however, American people sound so excited to see you. And that's a great change. And that's exactly what she told me. I asked that to a few people, and they're like, Americans always are just happy. And I'm like, huh? Because this is so opposite of the truth.
I've gotten compliments on my accents before. Like, if I'm checking out of a store, sometimes the cashiers will be like, oh my God, I love your accent.
Well, in the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like at Whole Foods and they're like, hey. I'd be like, what the hell?
But anyways, no, I'm not seeing anyone currently, but I have a cool job and I'm going over there. Maybe I'll have a love affair with a British man.
You should.
I'll try. For you, Malika, I'll try.
Thank you. I did go on a date this week, but I think that was the end of that. I went on a date with somebody who I've been on 2 dates with before, but like a long time ago. Back in November, October, September, something like that. And we kept talking. We talk every day on Snapchat. We literally send things. He'll send things to me on Instagram that he thinks I'll laugh at. Like, this has been sustained conversation for months now. And he's here in Boston, and I was like, oh, we should go somewhere. And he's like, sure. So we went to eat pizza, and it really pissed me off. This entire experience pissed me off. I really hope he doesn't find this, I hope he does, actually. First off, I met him. He met me at the train, which I think is really nice. He came and picked me up at the train because I didn't know where the heck I was.
Nice. I like that.
And then we walked over. We ordered pizza. I paid for half of it, and then I only ate 2 slices, and he ate the rest, which is fine, but I just feel like on principle, if I'm paying for this giant, huge pizza that I didn't want, a little weird for you to just consume the whole pizza.
No, that makes me mad.
It was weird.
No, I feel anger about this.
But it was weird, but I really didn't care. Like, that's not something I'd be petty about. And then we go and we're walking back, and he's like, hey, you want to come see my new apartment? Because I've seen his old apartment. And I said, sure. So we go in, and it looked like dudes live there. And then I just stood there and kind of talked for a bit, and then I was finally like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave now, so have a good night. And this is when I started to get a little pissed off, and again, it's just me being petty. So basically, every time that we've hung out before, I guess the 2 or 3 times, he has always walked me back home. There's never been a moment where he has not walked me back home. He would walk 45 minutes to walk me home, 30 minutes to walk me home. He'd walk me home, then go home himself, like stuff like that. And this time, it's an hour walk from his apartment to my apartment, but only like 10, 15 minutes on the T. So he was like, okay, do you know how to get back? And I said, yeah. And I started to go, and he then told me, he was like, oh, by the way, like when I left, he's like, by the way, I think that the C line is stopped. I think that they're closed down. And they were. So I couldn't take the train back. I had to walk.
Oh.
And then I started really thinking about it, and I was like, oh, he knew I had to walk, and he just let me walk, which was fine, except he has a car here. He has a car that he had parked in the back, and it's a 5-minute drive, but an hour walk.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And I was like, you literally could have. I looked it up, and it said 5 minutes driving time or a 52-minute walk.
That makes me mad.
And I was like, you really could have just driven me home, but you didn't. And that pissed me off.
Yeah, I don't like
in
that.
retrospect.
He should have He should have driven you home. Like,
he should have driven me home. He should have driven me home. It was 10 p.m. He knew the train was stopped. He knew that it was a long walk. And he just let me walk home by myself. Rude.
That is rude. I don't care for that. So
it, like, bothered me. I don't really know. I don't know why it bothers me, but it did. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's so unlike you. Like, if you had never walked me home, fine. But now you just don't care if I die? Cool. But I don't know. I think that solidified that, like, nothing would ever happen between us.
Yeah, I think that's more of a last straw kind of thing.
He's also never kissed me, which is weird.
I find this weirder that you guys have been on, like, 3 dates.
No, I find this weird. Not to, like, be that bitch, but also, like, I've never been on a date where, like, by the second date we haven't kissed or, like, cut something. And First off, I always have to, he'll hug me, like he'll want to hug me, but he's really bad at initiating hugs. Like he'll kind of like reach and then kind of pull back. So I always do, like I always initiate hugs fully. He is just not like, he doesn't try to do it. Like it's weird. I'm like, why the heck don't you try to kiss me? Like this is literally like we've known each other since September. It's kind of gross. I think I'm friend zoning him. I think we've both collectively friend zoned each other because
that's fine.
It's just strange. It's so strange.
I just want to, you know what I want? I just want to like have a moment where I meet someone and I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I want that.
I want that.
Forever.
Because I've had, it's only happened to me one time, but I did meet someone one time and I was like, oh my God, we're in love. And it was incredible, except for they had a girlfriend. So that was pretty, so it was pretty one-sided, but we ended up being friends and I got over it. So it was like, fine. But I want that feeling of meeting someone and being like, oh my God. Because like when that happened to me with my like now friend, the whole thing is like, we liked the same taste in music and we had such a fun night. We were at this party. Like it was just such a cool moment. Like it was just a moment in my life. And I was like, oh my God, I met this person. This is incredible. And then he had a girlfriend. And it was sad for me.
I've only felt that with one person too. And I remember like, okay, a lot of the times my crushes will develop in that it's very one-sided at first. Even if they do like me, I can't tell.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I really
same.
can't tell.
I can't tell. I'm not.
My first boyfriend was kind of like that, where he was just kind of, we were such good friends, which is the only time that I've ever had a friendship go, like a best friendship go that way. And he told me, the thing is he would like tell people and wouldn't tell me, and then he did tell me, and I just said, oh, and that's all. But I had liked him for so long, I just didn't know what I was doing. And like, I don't know, it's weird now because I did think I talked about this the other day, where it was like a former coworker of mine goes to college with him, and she texts me out of nowhere and was like, oh my God, do you know him? And I was like, yeah, I do know him. She's like, oh, I met him at a party last night. He's so cute. Can you tell me about him? And I was like, no. And I was like, no. But there was one guy where once I met him, he's my like godbrother's best friend to this day, best friend. And we met each other and we spent the entire day together. We talked. My like godbrother was there, but like he was irrelevant at that point. And we like, I remember like I would go upstairs and like, I'm gonna go watch TV upstairs in his house, and he was like, I'll come with. And then he came and would like sit next to me and like put his hand like behind me, and he gave me a foot massage. And then and like this was something like, we were so young, like 15, something like that. And I remember just being like, this is one of those obvious moments where we just really like each other. And then he like asked Clueless.
She gets with her stepbrother. It's fine.
He asked me to kiss him, but it was his first kiss because we talked about it, and he was like, I want to kiss you. And I really wanted to kiss him. And then I said, I don't think that's smart. I don't know what I said. I said, I don't think I could help you with that.
Oh, wow.
Because I started to think that like my godbrother was like his best friend. I was like, this could be messy, and I'm just not that person. So, but it's
you're
so
not
weird.
messy.
I'm not messy, what? But it's sad because now I see him all the time. He's so cute. He's so nice, so smart. And I see him all the time, and we kind of act like all that never happened. Like there was a day he felt like we went into the bathroom together. Like it was happening. Like we liked each other for so long, and then it kind of faded when I said that. And now I see him and like we pretend like it never happened, and it's so weird. But like if I were to describe my great almost could have been the one who got away, I think it was him. He's amazing.
I'm trying to think the one who got away. I don't know if I have a one who got away. I really don't. I look back at the men I've dated and I go,
thank God.
I go, no. Because even if it would have worked temporarily, I don't think it would have worked in the long run. Even with that guy who I thought I had this huge connection with, now being friends with him, I think it probably would have ended.
Probably. Well, that's okay.
Well,
this week, our Tinder Talks guest. That's a good segment. This week, our Tinder Talks guest is my friend Mercedes. We'll be talking to her in just a little bit about long-distance dating. But first, we're going to top off this week's discussion of fascinating dating news with Megan.
So, I have a few reasons that I chose this article. I didn't realize that I do this until I was listening to the podcast back. I always say why I chose the article. I don't know why. I don't think anyone cares why I did what I did. But I do.
Just
so I'm gonna
first thing that popped up on Google.
No, it wasn't. That I
That's
also
good.
I don't want that to be a misconception from our small number of listeners. It's not the first article that pops up on Google when I read through several articles
Wait.
too. Like I don't just pick the first one I read through a bunch of them and then I pick the one I like the most.
I would just like to say that our listeners in the past couple of months have more than doubled. We looked at the stats.
Oh, so it's gone from 2 to 4.
No, it's about
I think it's like
I don't know what to say. Do I say?
I think at one point it was 50, which means
50?
it's more than 50
It's
now.
more than 100
Okay.
per week.
That's if you like us, tell your friends and we'll start tweeting more because we never tweet now.
Oh yeah, we're
And
so
it's
bad
my
at
fault.
social
Okay,
media.
anyways
Sorry.
though. Dating news. So we're talking about long distance relationships. I chose this article from Pop Sugar, popsugar.love. This is exciting for a few reasons. One, sometimes the articles I pick, unfortunately, are a little outdated because there are certain ones I like. This one came out a week ago. This is June 13th, which when this episode is released, it's going to be like
Old
July
hat.
something. But at the time, this article is like a week old, which I like. I don't know. I like being recent. And another reason I chose this article, other than the fact that I liked it, this is a very positive look on long distance relationships. And when we
Good.
get into the discussion here in a few minutes, I am very negative about long distance relationships. So I wanted to pick an article that was going to be a good counter to my high level of anger and negativity towards long distance relationships.
Let's hear it.
So it's called 5 Reasons I'm Thankful for Being in a Long Distance Relationship. So, of course, it's a list. I love a list. We love a list.
Listicles are the best.
It is a listicle. So, essentially, this woman has been in a long distance relationship for like 2 years around. And she says they've lived in 3 different cities and 2 continents. So they've like never lived together. And here are the 5 reasons she gives for why she likes it. She says she feels more confident because even though it's not convenient, like you have to make an effort every day, which means you're more stable in the relationship, which, okay, yeah, I can see. 2, she gets to focus on her career more.
Fair. Okay,
Because
that's a good one.
you don't feel like you have to have one person focused.
Yeah, you just kind of do your thing.
Yeah, and she says also people do this at the expense of their partner and the relationship, but in a long distance relationship, that doesn't happen because she doesn't feel guilty when she stays late at work or if she has big projects. Her 3rd reason is she can dedicate a lot of free time to her friends and family. I think this is a really solid reason.
I like that.
I will say
like
that.
when you're on vacation, you're on vacation. Like when you go to see the significant other, you're there to see them.
Yeah. So this one, for me at least, holds more weight than the first 2. But we'll get to that in a minute. So she just says that she gets a lot of time to spend with her family and friends.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
pretty
pretty good. That's
self-explanatory.
pretty
4th, she can put her health first. So she can work out and eat healthy,
Oh.
and she has like a lot of priority. She was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome. So it affects her hormone levels, but
Yeah.
she
Dating people
like,
means going out a lot.
Yeah, and she says because now she doesn't feel like she has to skip a morning workout or something to hang out with someone. Like she has more of a reason to just like focus on herself and to take care of herself.
Okay.
And then her 5th reason is she feels better about her priorities. This reason feels like a repeat of the other ones, but I'm not going to be rude about it. So she says that it's enabled her to be selfish and prioritize herself and her needs over other people's, which you can't always do in a relationship.
Okay. Those are all pretty valid. I definitely like the points about not feeling like you need to, like, with your work, like, you can put your career first to see your friends and family more. And because, you know, it's nice to dedicate time specifically to someone when you see them and then have your own life when you're not with them.
I would say that of the reasons on this list that I can find myself even kind of agreeing with, I would say number 3, which is spending time with friends and family, is probably the best one. Because I think that's something I've struggled with before in relationships, is making sure I still have time for my friends and my family. Especially when I was in high school and I had like my first love. I feel bad that I didn't spend more time with my family, but also I'd been spending time with them for 18 years, so it was a little different.
I would say you really, when you people see people who are so attached to their significant other, I was like, you really shouldn't spend more time with them than you would your best friend. Like, I don't understand how you...
Yeah.
Like, why are you seeing them every waking day, like, minute of the day? That's annoying.
I think it's something, though, if for some reason you are a person who spends a lot of time with your significant other, like, that's okay. And also, I will say that first relationship, I think everyone does it.
That's true. But it also depends on how annoying you are. You can be very civilized people. Like, in marriages, they spend so much time together, but people who are married aren't clingy.
No.
They have their own lives, for the most part. And I think, but when you see people dating, some people are mature like that, and some people really act like they're glued by the hip.
And I mean, I personally, of course, you shouldn't do this all the time, but if we're like going out or something and there's a group of people, if we're just one-on-one, I don't like this, but say there's a group of like 3 or 4 and they're like, oh, can I bring my boyfriend or girlfriend? That's fine. Mm-hmm. We're already going out in a group. Also gives me a chance to get to know them. So if I hate them, I can tell you, right? So it's like that idea. I'm fine with it in certain settings, but I think that one probably is the best reason because you can feel less bad, especially like we'll get into it more. But in my long distance relationship, that was something that my significant other made me feel bad about. Okay. So,
well, let's bring in our guest. We'll be back in just a minute with Mercedes. Hello.
Hi, Mercedes.
I just really well, we call her Meche. Yes. I just really love Meche.
I love you too. I'm so excited to be here.
Her so much.
There's been such a wild imbalance of the amount of friends Malika has had on this show and the amount of friends I've had on this show. I promise I'm not lonely. My friends are lonely, so they're not interesting.
Meche is visiting us for the weekend. I mean, she like lives here in her normal life, but she's being really cool this summer, so that's nice.
Yeah,
good for her.
I'm kind of bought an impulsive train ticket from New Haven up here to Boston this weekend because I was like, I'm lonely. I need to see all of my friends.
I'm so glad you came. It was so nice to have you.
It's been like those weekends where it's nice and long and you feel like you're enjoying every moment and it's not going too fast. But now I have to go to work tomorrow, so
the weather is lovely.
Cute. It's really cute. I love it.
So our topic this week is long distance relationships.
Yes.
Which you are in a long distance relationship?
Yes, I am. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years now. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's kind of crazy.
People.
Yeah, I don't know. And I definitely, it has like its ups and downs and its positives and negatives, I suppose. But overall, I mean, I will agree, it's not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone.
Go back. So when did you guys first start dating?
Yeah, give us how long is long distance? How often do you see each other? Let's get the meat of this.
Okay. So it's actually funny. So we started dating April of senior year of high school.
Oof.
Yeah. And
Oof is right.
I had broken up with my ex-boyfriend because I thought that I didn't want to do long distance in college.
And then you started dating.
And then
that's incredible. That's so I'm already
and then Lucas, my boyfriend, we just started like we were always really good friends in high school. And we just started like hanging out more and talking to each other more, and it just like seemed like a very natural transition to like, oh, this like could kind of work. But then it was also very hesitant because both of us were going to school, and I go to school in Boston, he goes to school in like upstate New York, so it's kind of not super close. Obviously farther, it could be farther, but it was just kind of like a big decision, and I basically told him I made him grow up. It was kind of funny because I told him, I was like, well, why do you want to be like in a relationship with me? Like let's be real here, because we're both leaving to go to college soon, and like what are you hoping to get out of this? Because like at the end of 4 years, like what are we gonna do? Like you have to like,
that's a very serious question.
Because
that
it's
is
true.
Hugely serious.
I'm not gonna go into like a relationship just to be in a relationship. Like, what do you expect from this? Mm-hmm. And so we had you just had to like. I think that's where it begins. You know, you have to like have like honest conversations with each other.
So what are your intentions?
Exactly.
Let me tell you what. If I had had that conversation before I started my long distance relationship, we would have broken up immediately. I don't know if he listens to this podcast. Maybe he texts me randomly sometimes. But if he does, just know I knew pretty early on that it wasn't gonna be a forever thing.
Yikes. Yeah, I think it's just it has a lot to do with I think your intentions. And he was like, wow, I'd never thought of that before. And I was like, what you mean? You were going to go into a relationship with me for like long distance.
That's true.
And you hadn't thought about it. He's like, I just really liked you. And I was like, well, that's kind of cute. So, well, yeah. So
you
we've
had
been
that
dating
conversation
for a while. Yeah.
And you were like, okay, we're going to try it in college.
Yeah, and we like decided that, like, you know, like How I Met Your Mother, they have like exits, you know, like, have you know that analogy, like you're on the freeway and it's like 3-month exit and like 6-month exit. Basically told each other that like we would try it out first semester, and like if it didn't work, we would like be very honest and be like no strings attached, like at the end of December be like, okay, like is it over, is it gonna keep going? And we decided that's like we had those like checkpoints like every semester, and it's been
very mature.
Yeah,
I don't know, we're also children, so it's not.
I'm looking back into when I met you, which was in June. Actually, it was this weekend 2 years ago. Funny enough, it's our 2-year anniversary. So 2 years ago, I met you, and you were talking about your boyfriend. And it kind of just seemed like when people have just been in a relationship, I guess at that point you had been in a relationship for like 2 months or so, they tend to be very like, still very like, oh, my boyfriend just texted me. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And you talked about Lucas in the same way that our other friend Simeon talks about his girlfriend Margot, where it's kind of just like you've been together for so long. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, my partner. More partner than boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I do remember, it's like funny because at the time there was...
roast me?
I am, yes. So there was a man here named Matt.
Oh, my God.
He goes to BU, and he loved him some Mercedes. And she was so not into it. She was like, he would be like, we'd be dancing, and he'd come up and be like, oh my God, I love the way you dance. Do you want to dance?
And I knew that was a lie because I dance horribly.
And he kept
I respect
so
you know that about yourself.
He kept trying to get next to her, and you were just like, yeah, my boyfriend Lucas loves to dance. Like, you just said to the point. And this man was not like, he knew you had a boyfriend. He just didn't care. He was like, you're going to college, and I just want to dance with Mercedes. And it was so funny.
All right. Interesting. Yeah.
He was so obsessed with you.
Okay, wait. Go back. So you decided that at the end of the semester you'd like reevaluate.
Yeah. So we decided that we were gonna like reevaluate, like no strings attached. Like just, you know, is this working? Is it not working? And then so we just kind of decided to keep going, and it's definitely, I mean, it's had its ups and downs. There's definitely peaks and points. And I mean, we try to see each other a couple of times this semester, usually when we have like long weekends. So in like fall semester, it'll be for Columbus Day weekend, which is usually in October. And then I won't see him until December. And then, but during the spring semester, we'll see each other for like, what was it, like MLK in January, February-ish. And then for like his spring break, he'll come up to Boston usually, or down to the side. Yeah.
Come down.
Come down to the side, to the right, to the coast.
Down and left.
Yes.
Down and right.
Down and left.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Whatever.
What?
He gets on an 11-hour bus and he comes here, so
that's
11.
Grateful.
Dang. He's a nice person. I really like him.
He's a good boy.
What would you say are like the peaks and valleys of long distance?
I think that, like, kind of referencing the article, I think that part, like, some of the good things, I guess, of like being in a long distance relationship is definitely, I don't know what I would do if I had a boyfriend that went to school with me, because I think it's hard to balance, like, do I eat all my meals with them? Do I invite them when I go to study in the library? Like, what do they eat? Do I have to feed them? Do I water them? Like, how often do they need affection?
Yes.
Like, how often how often do they stay over? Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're in a serious relationship, like, how much time are we committed to spending with each other, like, on a daily basis? So it kind of, like, takes the anxiety out of that, because you only see them when you see them, and you relish that moment more, but you can also be independent. And I think that also it kind of gave me the opportunity to like make my own friends and like make my own personality and self and pave my own way for myself in college, which I really appreciate, because a lot of the people that I know here know me like as me and not just like my like Lucas's girlfriend, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's really valuable, just like as for me, like as a person, just because I'm like able to be my own person.
Really strong point in that when you go to college with someone you went to high school with, it's a really good opportunity when you go to school to grow. Not that you're changing. People are like, oh, it's a fresh start. I don't think you really change that much. Like, you change, but not a whole new personality.
Yeah.
But when you have someone who's like known you your entire life, it's really weird to like be that new grown person. Like, you feel like you should be back in the way that you were in high school. And that's
and I think
unnecessary.
It's kind of like that's also kind of like a hindrance, because you're always going to have that. You can't just leave it all behind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't be like, they're my life, like, I'm not that person anymore, because you still carry that part of yourself, like, day to day. But I think that it's nice, like, at the end of the day, no matter what, like, you go home and you know that, like, you can call on the phone, and, like, there's always going to be someone that, like, is going to want to listen to how your day went, or they're going to want to, like, take care of you, or to ask you how you were, or whatever. Like, there's someone there no matter what. Like, no matter what happens in Boston, I know that, like, there's one constant that's always going to be there for the time being, I suppose. And like my world here can be in, like, a whirlwind, but there's always going to be something that's, like, grounding me, which is nice.
I think for both, you both have very ambitious careers, very ambitious majors.
Yeah.
And having that time apart really seems to suit you both. Like, you're both doing really well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's hard, because I think you also have to, like, think, like, post-grad plans, like, if it works out the next 2 years, like, oh, like, applying to, like, we both want to go to graduate school, and, like, what if I get into, like, a graduate school in the middle of Nevada, and, like, he gets into a graduate school, like, in New York? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna break up? Like, is it gonna be all for nothing? Like, these 4 years, like, can I do 2 or 3 more? I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's kind of,
true.
It keeps me up at night sometimes. I'm like, oh. Like,
do you think you would apply to your grad program on the basis of him?
I think that I would make my list of, like, what I want, and then I think I would want to apply, like, within the same city.
Okay.
So, like, Boston, like, maybe I'll apply to, like, Tufts, BU, and, like, BC, and he'll apply to, like, I don't know, like, BU, Harvard, whatever. You know what I mean?
What's his major? Or, like, what would he want to go to grad school for?
He's a gov major, and he wants to go to law school.
Oh, yeah. So there's some shit out here in Boston for
yeah.
law.
He's a smarty pants,
he's
too.
He's a smart boy.
Where does he go to school?
He goes to Cornell.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he can get
summer.
so he can get into Harvard
on
then
my
for
friend
law.
over
Okay,
here.
Great.
My friend over here works at Yale. This one.
That's
you work
me.
at Yale?
Research at Yale.
I'm doing research at Yale this summer.
And her boyfriend works at Facebook.
yeah, he's a policy analyst for Facebook.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. People are like, wow, like, your boyfriend
Power
goes to
couple.
Cornell, like, he's your sugar daddy. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm an equal part sugar daddy in
You
this
guys are both
relationship.
That's
equally
awesome.
amazing.
That you're both so smart.
Yeah.
I know.
Maybe it's because we don't see each other very
Honestly,
often.
that
It
works
might help.
out because then when you apply to grad school, you can both apply to really good schools, and there's a good chance you'll get into really good schools together, and that's
Hey,
pretty cool.
I hope so. We're trying.
I think
Maybe.
it's awesome. You guys are both really great.
I kind of wish I had applied to
So
Yale.
fun.
I did, and they rejected me. So
I didn't, and I don't know
But now
why
I'm
I
back.
didn't.
I like flex my Yale ID on them. I'm like, look at me now, sucker.
Let me tell you what, I wouldn't have gotten into Yale, but I wish I had applied because maybe I would have been like the bottom percentage of people.
My two best friends from high school, they're twins.
They're
and they go to Yale.
beautiful. Like no lie, it's actually beautiful. Like, I walk to work every day and I'm like, wow, people live like this. Like, I guess if you're smart enough, like, that comes with some perks, my friend, because it's gorgeous.
The only
apply
reason
to
I
any
would
Ivies.
want to go to grad school is to go to an Ivy League school. I think there's some part of me that so desperately grew up wanting to go to Ivy League schools
Yeah, that
that
makes sense.
the only reason I'd go to grad school is so I could say, oh, I graduated from here, even though, like, undergrad and graduate are different.
Yeah, I feel that. I get
Well, there's
it.
time. There's always time.
See, there's nothing I'd want to go to grad school for.
That's
Also,
true.
I hate school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not like academics.
I'm so like, I want my career to start. I want to have fun. So
I want my career to start. I don't think I would do well at grad school because I don't like school. There's nothing really at a grad school that I could study.
there's plenty of people in media though that go to grad school, but I would say most of them are for journalism.
Yeah.
And that's not
true.
what I want to do.
Or
so-
law school. I know a lot
Or
of
law
people.
school. I did want to go to law school for a long time.
A lot of journalists go to law school because it just,
Yeah, it
those
helps.
things are pretty
Yeah.
hand in hand.
I think, like,
know.
I've never not considered not going to graduate school because, I mean, I study psych. So it's very much, but now I'm kind of reevaluating my whole sphere of life of, like, do I want to do this or that? But no, it's never not been graduate school. And I think that if I were to not go to graduate school, my life would just, like,
With that kind of degree, it's like half doing it.
yeah.
Should have
just kinda-
transferred to an
crazy.
Ivy League. So gone 2 years at BU, transferred to an Ivy League.
You missed your chance.
I did miss my chance.
Now it's impossible.
Also, though, I don't know any other places that would have a film and television degree.
That's true. BU's very I like BU. I think it's a good mix of being smart and having what I need.
Yeah.
So I can't picture another school that I would like this much that has the same academic pedigree that has media
Academic
the way
pedigree.
that it
Wow.
has. Thanks. I go to VU. I have a degree. Just kidding.
I have half a degree now.
I have half a
I
degree.
told my mom when I got home, I was like,
9.5.
I have half a bachelor's degree.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, I don't like thinking about that. Anyways, your long distance relationship.
When you guys see each other, is there any special thing that you do? Do you have I don't know, this is not having to do with relationships, but like when I don't see my dad that often. When I see him, we always go to the same restaurant, like stuff like that. Do you have that kind of thing?
I think it depends. When we see each other when we're back home, there are like certain restaurants we like to go to. There are certain things that we like to do, like we go hiking and stuff. But when we see each other, it's kind of dumb. Like when you reunite with someone when you're in a long distance relationship, it's cool because everything that you do together is like special, because when you usually do these dumb things, like they're not there. So it's like we're going to the grocery store, but like my boyfriend's here. It's like, wow, he gets to like pick out the lettuce. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're going to like take a walk, but this time my boyfriend's here. Like, wow. So you really can do whatever you want, and it makes it exciting. Like, so there's some days where like, he'll come visit me, and literally all we do is like we went for a walk, or like we went out, and then I'm like, I'm kind of tired. And he's like, do you want to take a nap? And I'm like, yeah, I want to take a nap. And you take a nap, and it's like so special. And it's just kind of dumb, but yeah, like even now, like you kind of have like your own rituals. Like we do a thing like over the summer where we're watching like a show together. So like at night we like both like we'll split screen, like share screen and watch show. I let him pick the show, so we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Lucas, you disappointed me. I had so much respect. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
that's a good show.
You don't like
I do not.
Whoa.
No.
I had the mic away from. No, wait. You don't like
Just
Avatar:
burst
The
my
Last.
hair.
Yeah, I'm glad. What? You don't like Avatar: The Last Airbender?
it's pretty quality.
What the hell, Malika?
Like I'm on season 1, but it's pretty quality.
Damn, I had so much respect for you. What, Malika? What? Why don't you like it? You gotta give me a reason.
It's not my thing. It's like one of those things you turn on and you're just like, no.
I didn't think it was my thing, but then I learned that relationships are about compromise, so now here we are.
That's true.
Yeah, if I've learned anything about long distance relationships, that compromise is important.
That's true.
You know, what's it called? Lucas, like he likes watching like some animes, and he'll be like, "Oh my god, you should watch this," and I'll be like, "Oh," but then I have him watch like I don't know, Under the Tuscan Sun and like I don't know, A Walk to Remember. So it really,
Wait, A Walk to Remember. So
that's the first book that ever made me cry, and the
It's so
first movie
good.
to
It's a
ever make me
Nicholas
cry.
Sparks book,
Oh,
yeah?
of course.
I haven't seen that one. I respect a good Nicholas Sparks movie, which is it. They're not what I watch often, but sometimes I'm in the mood for just like ooey gooey romance, and that's when I'm like Nicholas
It's not
Sparks.
forever
here I
love.
come.
It's the kind of love that you read about and hear about, but never experience yourself. Maybe where it's just like you can't live without this person.
That's crazy.
Like there'll never be another person that holds a candle to this person.
yeah.
So sad. I want that. Well, I have a question, Megan. You want to talk about your long distance?
Yeah, I'm curious. Are you
We just heard the good part.
I mean, I will say, like, there are negative parts. Like, you have to be a very good communicator. Like, I told Malika literally, like, last night Malika and I were hanging out, and then we got home, and both of us were, like, not super sober. And I, like, called my boyfriend, and at first I was like, it's so great to hear from you. And then I was like, how come you never call me? And then I'm like, how come I always have to call you first? And he's like, I don't think that this is the right time to talk about this. And I'm like, no, this is the perfect time to talk about this. And then in the morning I texted him, and I was like, I don't remember why I got mad at you, and I really want to say that I'm sorry. Like, I'm owning up to my responsibility. And then he texted me. He was like, yeah, I'm sorry if I made it seem like I didn't care. It just did not seem like a good time to do this. So, I mean, it's ups and downs. You know, I woke up this morning and I was like, Malika, I don't know if I can be on the podcast today because my boyfriend might break up with me this morning because I'm ridiculous. But it's
I'm so
difficult.
surprised that I slept through this confrontation.
I mean, I was like, what do you mean? I was like whispering into my phone.
You didn't have to whisper.
It was my favorite. It's
But
so funny.
that's so funny. I mean, we all have those days.
Yeah.
We do. I want to hear about this though.
So here's the thing. Even just talking about it just now, I think over time, I am being dramatic. I don't think
love the drama.
necessarily it was the long distance. I think we were a terrible match.
Oh. Wait, start from the beginning. Like,
So-
how did you?
Oh man, I'm really like going into the depths. I have like a weird feeling in my stomach. I don't often talk about my high school boyfriend other than the fact that I don't like him as a person. He texted me recently at a party
Yeah.
where I was less than sober. And I responded. I never respond. He's texted me several times, and I never respond. But because he caught me at a time,
He caught you in your,
at my
weak
worst.
point.
So
Ooh.
I did respond.
Guard was down.
And he said, he was like, there's no point in hating me. And I responded, I was like, I don't hate you. I just don't see the point in us ever. Like, it frustrates me when you try to contact me because I don't get it.
Exactly.
Anyways, we started dating for a very long time in high school. I really wanted a boyfriend. And then in senior year, I was like, well, we're done here. I don't want to date anyone. I'm going to college. And I knew I was not staying. I'm from Texas.
Oh my God, we're from Texas.
I'm from Fort Worth.
I'm from El Paso.
What?
Wow.
Malika!
You didn't tell us.
You didn't say anything?
That's some nerd shit. What the fuck's happening?
People from Texas have like a thing.
We find each other when we care. When we find each other.
Oh shit!
Wow.
That's exciting.
That's okay. Continue.
I'm
I'm
glad we're
sorry.
both here.
This is magic.
But the thing about Texas is a lot of people who are from Texas stay in Texas. Like, it's not the most common thing to leave the state. But I knew I was because I never wanted to stay in Texas. My relationship with Texas has changed over time. But at the time, I really, really hated Texas. And I wanted to leave.
Fair.
So I knew I was going to leave. I was like, there's no point in dating anyone. And then this guy, let's give him a fake name. I don't want to say his real name.
Ooh.
Jeff.
All right. So Jeff, so he kind of came out of nowhere. We went to this like school. We did this program called Youth in Government. I don't know if you had that. But we did Youth in Government, and we went to the Capitol for the weekend, and he kind of flirted with me while we were there. And we ended up going on a day. I recognized that he was flirting with me, which I usually don't realize.
Yum, yum.
And I didn't like him, and I think that was the first problem. But I was also like, I had a crisis because I was like, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to be the only person who's like never had sex. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just date this guy, which is like going in.
That's a horrible decision.
Horrible decision. So I didn't really like him that much to start, but I was like, we're going to just go. Oh man, if he listens to this, his world is going to shatter. But here's the thing. I did really grow to like him, and I did love him. Like, he was my first love. And there was a period of time where our relationship was really good. And it was really fun.
That's good.
And we really liked each other. And I think he taught me a lot about relationships. Like,
Yeah.
just by being in one, you learn a lot about yourself and stuff like that. But I think in the summer, it already started to go downhill because we ended up dating longer than I thought we would. Because I thought we would break up. But then I was like, oh, wait, I actually like this guy. So then we dated into the summer. And there was a period of time where he was just an asshole. And I told him, I was like, you're skating on thin ice. And then so he was like, no, I'm going to change. Like, give me the rest of the summer and then you can decide if we're like going to break up. And then he really did change, like, for temporarily.
Wow. Interesting.
But then he went back to his old shit as soon as I left. He was just, here's the thing. I don't think we were compatible in that we wanted really different things out of life.
Yeah.
I think I've
Fundamentally
talked
different.
to Malika about this before. We wanted really different things out of life. I think he was really old-fashioned, which is so, I feel gross because I don't like making generalizations about people.
It's so Texas.
But he was very Texas. He was very like, oh, I'm going to have a wife and she's going to have kids and she's going to stay home
I
with the
hate
kids
that.
and we're going to live on a ranch
that's
in the middle of
familiar.
nowhere. And I was
Too
like,
familiar.
I want to live in a city and I want to have a career and I want to have a career in media and like, you know, this whole thing. So I think we were really incompatible. And I knew that, but I didn't really do anything because I didn't want to be alone. Because at that time I was also struggling with, I had a lot of mental health issues that went unresolved for most of my life because I lived in a community that was extremely religious. So it was like, oh, if you're depressed, it's because you're a sinner, which means if you pray, you will get better, which is not at all how anything works ever at all.
Yeah.
So I think I had a lot of unresolved mental health issues that were only being worsened by this whole thing. So it was a lot of elements, but essentially he was not very supportive of me doing my own thing and having my own life. And I realized that, and I was like, yeah, I was going to break up with him at Thanksgiving because I realized like mid-October.
Yeah.
Turkey dump.
So I was going to turkey dump. Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Because I didn't want to break up with him over the phone.
Yeah.
Because that sucks. So I was like, yeah, I can hold out. Like, it was like 2 weeks. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. It was like not that long. And then like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I was going out with my friends and I didn't tell him.
Oh, I hate that.
And he freaked out over the phone. He called me and he was like, you have to tell me when you're like doing stuff like this. And he just yelled at me over the phone.
For what purpose?
You literally don't.
I know, for what purpose? And he had actually come and visit Boston. So he was here, and a bunch of my friends met him. And he was also a dick to me then, and I didn't realize. And when I broke up with him later on, my friends were like, oh, yeah, we didn't like him. And I was like, you should have mentioned something. Because it wasn't like,
I feel
oh,
like
we
that does
didn't
more
like him.
harm than good.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, we don't like him. It was like, oh, he's mean to you. Like, when you guys are together, he says shady shit to you that we don't like. And I was like, someone should have mentioned this to me. Oh. But that's besides the point. But he yelled at me about this.
Oh, my God.
About going out and not telling him. And the next day, I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm not going to turkey dump. I'm just going to do it. So I called him, and I broke up with him. And he was crushed. He cried so much. Because I am the one that got away. I hope he listens to this. I am 100% the one that got away. Because let me tell you what. I'm incredible.
It's true.
Thank you. So essentially the problems we encountered, that's like the full story, not really touching too much on long distance. But the thing is with this guy, I think the reason long distance didn't work is I think we weren't really good for each other to start. I think we didn't want the same things out of life. And I think he was not good at communication. Mm-hmm. I think those were the big things. So
I think also just from like what you just said, when you talk about, long distance, one of the most important elements is trust. If you have to dictate your every action to him when he's not there, like, what the hell?
We got in a huge confrontation later on in the year, too, because I had kind of started seeing someone, and I posted a photo with them on Instagram with a group of other people, though. And he left me like 30 voice messages.
Oh my God.
Like calling me a bitch and a whore and a cunt for like sleeping with someone else, which was not at all what was happening. Like I think it was at this moment in time when I posted the photo, we ended up dating. But at this moment in time, we were flirting. Like we were friends. We were not seeing each other.
Yeah.
And he freaked out and he texted me 60 times. I remember this. It was 60 times and like calling me all of these horrible things. And that was like, okay, we could have been maybe friends, but
Absolutely
that's not happening now.
The amount of disrespect.
Yeah, the amount of disrespect. So I think overall, I think the moral of the story is the reason the long distance didn't work is because he was a shitty person.
Yeah.
Is more the moral of the story.
Yeah.
But I think it's put a bad taste in my mouth for long distance.
I feel that.
Honestly, it's a hard thing to move past being like, oh,
Yeah.
this was
Do you think you would do it again?
No. I don't think I would do long distance again. I would do long distance for like, it'd be different if like I dated someone, they were like studying abroad or something. Like that's different. They're coming back. But I don't know if I could do what you're doing, which is like an indefinite loop of long distance.
It's not easy. And I think that I just kind of, part of me has just kind of like numbed it out and been like, oh, like this like takes it day by day, I guess. Like it's because then I think if you think about it like if you think too many years ahead for anything, you kind of get bogged down. So just kind of like take it day by day. It's really funny because absolutely everyone, like, there's this saying in Spanish, like my family is Mexican and I've just like been raised with a lot of those like values or whatever. And there's this saying in Spanish that says, like, Amor de Lejos es de Pandejos, which means like love from far away is for idiots. Which is funny. And that's what a lot of my family told me before I left. And they were like whatever. And then there's also, like, what did they tell me? They were like, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Things like that. Like, they would just be so mean to me. And then, what's it called? My grandmother and my grandfather, they did long distance. They were both in Mexico, and my grandfather went to university, and my grandmother never finished high school. And they did long distance. Like, they would write letters to each other and whatever. And when I told my grandmother I was doing long distance with my boyfriend, she goes, Mercedes, like, I don't know if that's what you should be doing. Like, I don't know if it's... And my mom was like, Mom, didn't you and my dad, like, do long distance for, like, 4 years when he was in university? And she was like, yeah, we did, which is why I can tell her. And I was like, oh, my God, what is happening here? So basically, they're like, but if you're happy, you're happy. And I was like, okay.
I'm done.
Like, thanks, Grandma. Like, I appreciate it. But, hey, I think, like, when you see someone and they're happy, then there's, like, very little that you can do to, like...
That's
like,
true.
if they're happy and they're healthy, like...
And they're making it work.
Exactly.
See, that's another thing where I guess my family probably had their own reasons, but my family didn't say anything. They were kind of like, oh, do whatever you want. But then when we broke up, they were like, oh, yeah, we didn't like him. And also, we didn't think long distance was a good idea. And I was like, y'all some motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like, you should have said something.
One of my old crazy roommate, her mom came, and it was a whole thing with her ex, but we all hated him to the point where it was like just visceral hate, but it was necessary. And her mom one day had a talk with me, and she was like, I really don't like him. And I was like, how come you never said anything? Like, I asked her, and she said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because if my children love someone, then I have to love that person too for them. But I was like, no, this man is a mess. Like, I don't think I would be that type of parent.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I know my mom wouldn't do that. If I was dating somebody that she hated, she would be like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it just wouldn't go that
I
far.
think also, like, when you're in a relationship with someone, and like even with your friends, you only see one side of the relationship. Like, there's always things underneath that, like, maybe you don't understand or you don't get.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like us, like, we have the tendency to complain a lot about our significant others. So, like, a lot of the times I tell my friends about, like, my boyfriend, or like even my own parents. Like, I'll complain about my parents all the time. They're like, I have such a warped view of your parents because you always complain about them. And I'm like, no, I love them. It's the same with, like, relationships where it'd be like, oh my god, like, my girlfriend did this today and I'm so mad at her. But it's like, are you always, like, you only talk about the bad things, and sometimes you forget to, like, mention the good things, so people can have, like, a warped perception of the person you're dating. Because you kind of, it's easy to vent the negative things, but it feels a little more personal to be like, oh, my boyfriend sent me the really cutest good morning text today. You know what I mean? Like,
it's also, I've noticed the people who have good, or like, quote unquote, good relationships, healthy relationships, they do complain, because when things bad happen or things that annoy them happen, they're like, can you believe this happened? But there's always an underlying, stability of them just being good people. Versus people who are in unhealthy relationships, they tend to only bring up the good things, while everyone else is like,
yeah, that's
like,
true.
they're like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, or, oh my god, he's coming to visit, he's blah blah blah. And then when they're around, you're like, why?
Yeah.
I think also there's a certain level where I complain about things to people about stuff, but it's I always find myself doing this where it's like, I'm not actually mad at the person, but if I don't, like, complain about it for 2 seconds, it'll build.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, I'll talk to Malika and I'll be like, oh my god, my friend did this today and it was so annoying and it made me so mad. But that's, like, the last thing I'll mention it.
Yeah.
And then if they were to bring it up, they would be like, oh, did this thing I said make you mad? I'd be like, for 2 seconds. Like, it's not a big deal.
That's how I am too. And I think that, like, with Lucas, it's been, like, we have to learn how to communicate with each other because we're very different. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm in the same boat as you. Like, if something very mildly inconvenient happens, I'll text him to be like, oh my god, you'll never believe what happened. Like, I was in class and someone took my assigned seat, and he'll be like, oh my god, that's awful. And I'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. And then, like, 2 seconds later, like, I'm done, but he actually thinks it, like, affected me in a very negative way. So he'll be like, he'll be like, oh, he's like, I never know what to take seriously, like, when you're upset, because you always seem to be so upset about everything. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's me.
Oh, that's exactly how I have a friend in my life who says that,
and I'm like,
we got in a fight because he one time he goes, you're always grumpy.
Yes.
And I was like, how fucking dare you?
Literally, there's a big difference between being a grumpy person and complaining about little things, because we have the privilege of complaining about little things.
I don't think I'm grumpy. I think I do complain a lot, though.
I complain, but it's fun. It's a hobby for me.
I feel that, and I think that's what I need to I need to release my emotions before I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So I think that I sometimes use, this is horrible, I love you, Lucas, if you're listening to this, I sometimes feel like I use this as like a dumping ground for, like, my emotions, which is not great. I'll be like, ugh, this happened, like, it's just like a soundboard, and I'm like,
yeah,
I have to work on it. I have faults.
Do you know each other? Do you know his love language? And yours?
I don't know. I haven't, like, thought. I know.
Would you guess? Can you guess? So there's signs, or what am I talking about? There's, like, the people that need to be told I love you.
Yeah.
There's, like, the love languages are like words, gifts, action. Do you know what I mean?
Words, gifts, actions, affirmation. That was it. Affirmation. And
I think I'm definitely words of affirmation.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, here's the official one. This is why we keep our laptops out, right? The love languages there's 5. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Yeah, I think that he is definitely more quality time and physical touch, which is a problem because we are in a long distance relationship. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And I'm more like words of affirmation. And he's literally been, what's it called? I always think of, like, you know, when Michelle Obama and, like, Barack Obama did long distance for, like, a period of time.
Yeah.
And Barack was like, I don't know, I'm not really good at talking on the phone. Like, I don't know if I want to talk on the phone. And she was like, if you don't talk on the phone with me, like, I'm just going to go find someone else who will. And Barack was like, oh, shit. And and then they stayed together. I think that's the same, because Lucas will be like, yeah, I just like I don't like to like text a lot. Like I would prefer to call you. And I'm like, okay, but when our entire relationship is based around communicating with each other through written messages, like you got to be a good texter.
That's true.
Like you have to at least put a little bit of effort in. He does. But it's just like when your whole relationship revolves around your communication, like via a technology, it can be difficult.
Yeah. Especially when we live in a time where he doesn't text for 2 minutes and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yes.
I am the worst about that.
Horrible. Yesterday, okay, I'm also the worst. Like last night I was like, you always take so long to reply to me. And he's like, no, I don't. And I'm like, but you do. And I was like, look, at 9:43 you didn't reply until like, and I'm like, most of the time I'm joking, but I also don't know how to make that translate over text message. So I think I'm just the most annoying girlfriend ever, and I don't know why I am still in a relationship with the person.
I think me and you
feel
have a
like
lot
you're
in
good.
common. I feel like the more we talk, the more I'm like, yeah,
You're
yeah,
a good
okay.
Kindred
person.
spirits.
What's your love language, Megan?
So looking at this, I think what I communicate love with and what I need are two different things. Because I would definitely say that there's some overlap, but I think acts of service and like giving gifts are my love languages. Like I feel like that's how I show people I like them. It's like sometimes I'll bring them like a little something. Like I brought my friend even, like I saw this little potted plant in CVS and it was like $2 and I was like, oh, this is so cute. And like I just got it for her. So I think stuff like that, or like sending memes, even like stuff like that is kind of more my love language, but also quality time. Whereas I think that stuff does not matter to me as far as receiving it. I want words of affirmation.
Yeah.
I need words and I need quality time. Physical touch I don't really care about as far as like receiving or giving, but words of affirmation and quality time, that's what I need from like a partner, is someone who will tell me to confirm, because I just get scared if they don't say anything for a while.
It's true.
It's like I need you to be like, hey, I haven't told you in a few days, but I still like you. Like, I need that.
I relate so hard.
I need that.
I relate so hard.
That's interesting.
And I'll be like, I'll tell Lucas something like, I don't know, I just thought that you're really mad, and I was just worried because you hadn't told me that you loved me like a day and a half. And he was like, we have been dating for 2 years. If I didn't love you, we would not be dating anymore. And I'm like, but I still kind of need you to tell me that you love me.
Yeah. I need that affirmation. It doesn't have to be constantly, but every few days you just need to be like, hey, this. And it's the little stuff too. Like, I don't need rants.
Yeah.
But like, if I tell you something good that happened to me, it means a lot if you just go, oh, I'm proud of you.
That's
like
true.
that means so much to me, instead of just being like, oh,
Cool.
cool. Oh, cool. Like saying like, I'm proud of you. You just like that stuff
Yeah.
means so much to me, even though it's one sentence, literally 1 second out of your life.
That's true.
That makes sense.
What about you, Malika?
I'm a quality time person. I think that's like, honestly, in my friendships, it doesn't really, or like in relationships even, it doesn't matter how much I talk to you, it's how much I see you. Like if I talk to you in person versus texting, I definitely can tell like when my friendships fade or when they start to fade, or my relationships fade, it's because I don't see you.
Yeah.
And I think another one, like just to overlap, that kind of goes with quality time, is probably acts of service. Like when people just do things for the like, oh, I thought of you and so I'm doing this for you. That means a lot, but definitely quality time is like my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I need the other things. I don't need
know
words
what
of
I love
affirmation or
Too,
physical touch.
even with quality time, I do this with friends too. I like just studying in a room, silent,
Yeah.
doing our own thing, or even watching. There have been times with my friends where they will be studying and I will be watching YouTube videos and someone else will be, and we're just in silence, like as a group.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm
Just,
fine
like,
with
the
that.
company
I'm
is
fine with
nice.
It's
that.
just company. I like the company.
I also
of it.
just get energy from other people. So I
Yeah,
need
I
to be
just-
around other people.
and then if
I
you
don't need to be doing things.
see something
but-
funny, or someone's like, oh, I need a break from studying. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, I like that time of doing nothing together.
I
Yeah.
do too. It's really nice.
I like that.
Well, you want to play a game?
Yeah, let's play a game.
Yikes.
This is a strange game. I really don't know how to describe this. Meche,
I'm
myself, and Megan are birthing a baby.
We're gonna birth a baby.
Wee.
So this is a game Mercedes came up with.
I like to think of myself as Rumpelstiltskin. I enjoy names. I just think names say a lot about people. I think that your name is important to like your identity as a person. I think you can say a lot about like your cultural background, like who you present as a person, and like different people like grow into their names, or like they very much fit their names or they don't. And I just think that names are so interesting. And so I just
Can I ask before we start this game, how were you named / do you know what your name means?
oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah. Megan, want to start?
I don't know what my name means. I know my name is technically Welsh. Like, the spelling and origin is Welsh. That's, like, something I learned over time. That's not why I'm named Megan. My parents were like, we love
Welsh.
a Welsh name. I think the story
Big
for
fan of
how...
Welsh.
Well, I would like to include that my dad was rooting for Brandy for my name after the song. If you don't know the song, you've been living under a rock. Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. But my life, my love,
Brandy
and my
with a
lady
Y or I?
is the C. Brandy, like the song with an I. Like,
Oh
by
my gosh.
Looking Glass, the song
You just
from
don't
the
look
80s.
like a Brandy.
Well, we know that now. But
The baby.
The baby.
that was my dad, and he said he was like after the song Brandy.
Yeah.
And the whole reason my mom said no wasn't that she disliked the name, but she said the thing is when you name someone after a song, they get kind of haunted with the song their whole life.
That's true.
So her whole life, it's going to be like, Brandy, you're a fine girl, which honestly I wouldn't have minded. It's a good
my
song.
name's Mercedes, so the BMW
Yeah, it
Benz
haunts-
jokes haunt me.
Yeah, it kind of haunts you. So that was the thing my mom wanted to avoid.
Your
even
mom's
though
a smart woman.
she is. She's very smart. And so that was my dad's favorite, which honestly I don't think I would have minded. I think it would have been kind of funny. And
think it's
there
cute.
is a certain level that song, because of the story, is associated with me. Like my ringtone on my mom and dad's phone is that song. So even though I'm not named Brandy, there's still some of that there. But Megan, I think the actual story is that my mom and my grandfather were in like a flower shop walking around, and someone called their kid Megan, and my mom was like, yeah, I could go for that. And that was like it.
That's funny.
And that was it. And then we were done.
That's so funny.
What about you?
My name is actually super wacky. So like I said, my family's from Mexico. My mother's father's mother, so like my great grandmother, her name was Mercedes, and she was just like an amazing woman. So basically, she grew up in like central Mexico, and at that time, women didn't. They went to school. They went to school to be teachers, but my great grandmother did not want to be a teacher. She wanted to be a dentist. It's kind of like, like the Rudolph movie where it's like, I just want to be a dentist. I don't want to be an elf. Anyways, so she wanted to be a dentist. So her parents said, absolutely not. And we're not going to pay for you to go to school if you're going to be a dentist. And it's not going to happen. Like, our daughter's not going to be a dentist. She's going to be a teacher. So she told her parents she was going to the university to be a teacher, but she actually would like take the bus and like enrolled herself in dentistry school and would like study like late at night.
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, like under the covers to like be this dentist. And she met my great grandfather in dentistry school, and they got married. So they're both dentists. Eventually, I guess her family came around. And so basically they had my grandfather and everything like that. And she was just like the best dentist like ever. And she was the first like female dentist in northern Mexico, like where my family is from. And everyone would come like far and wide to get their teeth filled by Mercedes because she was a great person. And like even now my grandmother's friends are like, yeah, I had a crown put in by Mercedes like when I was 6 years old, and it's still in now, and they're like 80-year-old women. Yeah, she was just a really good person and a wise woman. And my mom she died right as my mom was born. So my mom never met her, but it's always been like in the back of everyone's minds. And so she's just been a really positive figure. She also had like a mole on like above her lip like I do, but mine like appeared when I was 8 years old. Like I wasn't born with it. So it was just kind of, I've always been like a reflection of her, which has always been really sweet. But my parents did not plan to raise me in the United States. I was going to be born in the U.S. very illegally and then taken back to Mexico and raised in Mexico. Yeah, it's actually... I'm, like, exposing them. No, yeah, it's the truth. My parents lived in Mexico City, and they were going to go into El Paso to have me on American soil and take me back. It's horrible, but it's what happened.
And then you'd be a citizen.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect.
They did. Do
they bring this up a lot? You don't know what I did.
No, literally. And so then my mom and they were naming Mercedes, and in Mexico, I mean, you say it and it's Mercedes and it's fine. But then when they came in, like, I was born in the hospital there. My family is from northern Mexico. It's like the border from Texas and Mexico. So they were like, why don't you guys just stay? Like, you're around family. You should be here. Like, you shouldn't be in Mexico by yourselves. They're like, fine, you're right. We'll stay. So I was all of a sudden now living and raising myself in the United States, where I'm Mercedes and the car exists, and I would be bullied in school because I was named like a car, and even in high school people would call me Vroom Vroom. Like, it's just not okay.
I just think it's such a pretty name. I just don't see how
That's my biggest fear.
Yes, it's the worst.
Giving a child a name that can be made fun of. And I always say that, and people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, though. It's like, no, it does matter, because kids can be really fucking cruel.
It's true.
It
Kids can
depends
be
on what
so
it is.
mean.
Because here's the thing. Being named Mercedes is, like, yes, you can be made fun of, but it's way different than being named, like, Norman.
That's true.
Or something, like, very, like, you know,
Yeah.
and people are going to be mean, and they're going to be mean.
And I think I've like grown into my name too. Like when I was little, it's just like kind of like a big girl name, I guess. But now I enjoy it and I really like it. And I'm thinking of like pulling some like feminist stuff and like naming my daughter Mercedes. But who knows? I'm contemplating.
I said it's
Kind
too.
of contemplative. You know,
That's
call
funny.
her Junior.
I know Malika asked this because Malika's got a whole thing with her name. Malika just wanted
Yes,
to talk
do
about
it.
herself. So let's go, Malika.
Mine doesn't have a story.
Huh? But your name has like a cool meaning and like
Yeah.
It just means
origin.
angel. That's it.
That's so cool.
It means
It's
angel.
so pretty though.
It's named after. I was named after my mom's ex-boyfriend's sister.
Wait, what?
Hello.
My mom just went, like, her boyfriend in
I
high
get
school,
it.
something like that. He had a sister named Malika, and my mom really liked it and just stayed
It's
with
really
it.
pretty.
But that's all. I mean, the only thing is
Really?
that
I thought you had like a whole story with your name.
no, literally
Maybe
it's just
the
that.
way you tell it just sounds like a story.
But I will say the only story I can think of that would be associated with this name is that my dad wanted to name me German.
I still think that's really weird.
I think it's really weird. One, I don't look anything near a German. Two,
wait, like
the
I
word
thought
German.
you meant like a German name.
No, the word was
What the
gonna
hell?
be German.
I think
Dads just don't.
I don't know
have-
what's. My dad wanted to name me Remedios, which means remedy in Spanish.
That's actually very funny.
No, dude, I literally would not have lived it
Remedios.
down.
No, I think that one's
Like,
one that you
imagine
can't
if children
outlive.
they would have called me Remy, like the rat from Ratatouille.
I think that's adorable. Though.
I like Remy.
I like Remy. I would
Absolutely
be
not.
called Remy. I have a thing for Ratatouille though. It's like it is. It's like a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's funny though. In German,
Yeah, my nickname would have been Germ. So
German Remy, dude, we would have taken over the world.
German remedy.
German remedy and
German
And
a
remedy.
brandy, no brandy colon a German remedy.
That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna.
all right. So the whole thing with that though is we're gonna name some fucking kids right now.
Got it.
Are
we're-
we choosing?
We each are bringing 3 gendered, unfortunately, names to the table that we would want to name our kids, and then from there we're gonna.
So we're
weed it
gonna do
down.
Hash it
one
out.
male name, one female name, one gender neutral name. Is that what we're
Oh
doing?
no, I thought we were
I thought
doing.
we were gonna do like 3 female.
I
And
thought we
3
were doing.
male.
Oh, okay, we can do
3
that.
female, 3. Or do we each want to bring 3, or do we each want to bring 1?
Can we each bring 2?
Let's each bring
Okay.
2. Okay, I respect that. And then from the 6 choices we then have.
We have
Are
to
these names
find
that
it
we want to
out.
name our own kids?
Yeah.
Okay, well, mine are weird as hell, so I know you're going to shut it down, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Relationships are about compromise.
I have to think of my top 2 then.
I know.
I have 3.
made a
Can I
little
use
list.
3? I'd like 3.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll start. I don't want to get the looks that you're going to give me. The 3 female names that I would pick are, and they're all from literature, but weird. Briar,
God.
Avonlea.
Do you want our kid to be made fun of at school?
Yeah, you want
And
that kid to be
Windsor.
fucking bullied. Oh my God.
I love all of them.
Like the dress store.
What? What
No,
you mean?
like the book. All of them. Those are all places in books that I used to like as a kid.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
cute.
what I'm thinking of.
What about for men?
Oh man, Jace, but that's special to me.
Wait, no. Let's just start with girls.
Okay, girls.
Let's just
Okay,
Start
okay.
with girls.
Girls. Go, Megan.
So I only have one girl name that I'm actually attached to. My other girl name is like whatever. Like I actually don't really like it. Part of me is tempted to.
You only need
bring-
one.
You know what? I'm only gonna do one, and I'm so dead set on naming my child this. Like
my
this is it for me for a girl. Agatha. That's it.
I can't tell you're joking.
No, I'm not. I love.
You're making fun of me. Windsor and Agatha, we really got ourselves.
Dude, Windsor is fucking. Windsor's not a real name. Though.
Windsor.
Agatha's a real
Windsor?
name.
Windsor.
Both of you.
Agatha's a real name. I have
Call
a.
her Aggie.
Can you explain
if
this
you
name?
want.
Can you explain behind the? I just want to know why.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite movie. One of the characters is named Agatha.
What's my favorite movie?
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay, yeah.
The girl in that is named Agatha.
Yes.
And she's great. But also, ready, my last name. Oh, I don't want to say my last name, though, because we don't do that on the show. But
I
my
can
last
think
name-
about it.
Think about my
Okay.
last
Okay.
name. because there's alliteration. My last name starts, and I think it's so good.
Okay, but would you want your child to keep your last name?
I'm gonna do a hyphen last name.
Okay. The funny thing is, we're all like, oh, these are fucking awful names. But then if like when your kid's born later, I'm be like, oh my god,
I'm gonna be like, I can't wait to be the godmother to Windsor.
Windsor's. Here's my thing.
And then I'll whisper to her and be like, I'm so sorry that she did this to you.
Here's my thing. I have 3 requirements when it comes to baby names. 1, it's got to be a real name, which means it's got to be like an actual name. Like it can't be something made up. Have you ever seen someone name their kid like an object or like a place or some shit? Like I knew a girl named Lakin. That's not a real name.
Okay. I like that.
Or I know I've met a few Dallases in my life.
Yeah.
Like no
Dallas,
like
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's like no. Just it has to be a name. Like whatever it is, it has to be supposed to be a name.
That's funny. I'm actually on the complete opposite of that scale because
I noticed.
Because my name is so different. I can never have a Sarah in my life. Like there will be no Sarah.
Dang.
You know, I need somebody to have an equally like level to my name. What are your other 2 options?
Oh my god.
For girl names, I don't have any other girl names I'm really attached to. I'd be okay with Amelia.
I like Amelia's actually
With
on my
an E
list.
or A?
An A.
A. Amelia the classic way.
That's the
Because
name on my
like,
list.
For girl names, I don't care about boy alliteration, but for girl names with my last name, for some reason, I'm all about that alliteration.
Yeah.
I want that. I don't know why, but I would say Agatha is like the one I'm throwing in the ringer for girl names.
I love that.
Okay.
I really like Amelia. I think
That's a sweet name.
my like rules, I suppose, is that I need the name to be able to be pronounced in Spanish and in English, and it can't have changed the spelling. So like Amelia, Amelia, it's the same. I really like Rebecca. I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It's like this book.
But spelled how?
Rebecca, like Rebecca.
Thank God.
Like normal. Like the normal spelling
This is
of
one
Rebecca.
of those things. Same idea. Rebecca.
Yes,
Fuck that
no.
noise.
No.
Just spell it like a
Rebecca.
person.
And then it's like Rebecca. I mean, I'm into it. And then, okay, this one's the weird one. Everyone, please bear with me. Okay. I really like the name Laurel.
Oh, that's really pretty. I know a Laurel.
But then people make fun of me. They're like, that's like an old person name.
I don't think that's.
And in Spanish, it's laurel, and it's pretty. It's like the flower.
I'm trying to think of any insults for that.
Laurel.
Because
I
right now,
know Laurel.
Laurel, if I saw it, I'd be able to say
Laurel.
it.
I
It's
think
a
a
real
more
name.
modern version of that is Lorelai.
That's true.
But I don't think Laurel's an old person name. Like I don't
like
think
the
it's
name
used a
Laurel.
lot, but I like Laurel.
And like, I have family members that like are named like Laura, but like I think Laurel is like my name of choice.
I prefer Laurel.
Laurel.
I like
over
Laurel,
Amelia.
actually.
I actually really
Oh my
like
God.
Laurel.
Did we decide?
I think we're deciding on Laurel.
Oh my God.
Out of the names, I didn't even care enough to remember Malika's.
Okay,
Windsor.
Agatha.
I got this. Windsor. What was
Probably
the other
spelled
one?
with a fucking
With a
Z,
B. With something with a B.
Briar.
Briar. Oh my God. I can't do the other one.
Avonlea.
Avonlea? What the
It's
hell?
the name of my favorite book from childhood.
I respect your names.
So yeah, thanks.
I respect that you like them, and of course, when they're born, I'm sure I'll be like, "Oh, little Windsor with a Z, me." I'll, like love-
Z? What
Yeah,
the fuck?
I'm just assuming it's spelled stupid.
Interesting.
So like, I'll still love the shit out of that baby because I'll buy it so many things,
Yeah.
and most of them will be hats for its adorable baby head.
Watch us all like lose touch somehow and come back 10 years later. It's like, oh my God, this is my daughter. What's her name? Her name's Laurel. Oh my God, my daughter's name's Laurel too. My daughter's name's Laurel too.
I like Laurel. Yeah, that was pretty easy.
I do like Laurel. I like that one a lot.
I don't think it works with my last name in particular.
It's almost like your sister's name. So
It is. My sister's name is Laura,
You
so
can get away with it.
Yeah.
I love Agatha though. Damn. R.I.P.
All right, and boys' names.
All right, boys' names. Malika.
Whack.
Okay, well, I'll stick with my Jace because I know I'll
You
know.
have to tell the
I
story
know.
behind it.
Oh, well, it's just my dad's name is Jason. When I was born, my middle name is JC. I have a cousin, or I don't know, part of my family who she was named after me. Her name's JC. And, like, I would want to, like, honor my dad by, like, something, especially because, like, my dad's, like, the only male in our lineage. But, I would never want to name I would never want to name my kid Jason or like name my kid directly after someone. So I said because my name was shortened to JC, I would name my son Jace, even though it's a douchebag name.
That's cute.
But it
How
depends
would
on
it
the
be
kid.
Spelled?
JACE, because my dad is JASON, but my middle name is Jacy.
Yeah.
So it would just be Jace.
I respect it.
And that's what my mom did because my dad wanted a Jason Jr. and she said no. So she named my middle name JC.
Okay.
So I would go with Jace because for my dad and just to continue that tradition.
That's cute.
So that's one. I need more time to think about my other ones because I don't know. I do like a Grayson. I do like
I can respect Grayson.
Grayson. I don't know if I would go EY or AY though.
Y'all are making it really difficult for my family to be able to pronounce your baby names.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me think.
Imagine my Mexican grandmother trying to say Grayson.
I do like Hudson.
Say Grayson.
That's kind of cool.
Hudson.
I'm just gonna repeat all these with accents. and
Hudson.
just see if
I
they
really
work.
like Hudson.
Hudson.
Like
the river.
I guess, yeah.
I like your boy names far more than I like your girl names. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Let's hope you have a boy.
I can't think. I mean, I like certain names that are just like with boy names.
But those are like your top three.
I think those are. I really like Callum, but only in an Australian accent.
Well,
I don't know how to
But
describe
let's
this.
just throw that one out the window now.
Callum, with an Australian accent.
What is that? Callum.
Yeah, I don't know. I met a little boy named Callum. It was so cute.
It sounds like callus, like when you
famous
like.
Callum. Who is he?
Callum Mick something.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with Grayson, Jace, and I forgot my other one. Hudson.
One of my best friends when I was in middle school, her name was Grayson, but she went by Gracie.
Oh,
So
cute.
I'm fond of that
I
name.
do know a Grayson. I know a Grayson girl.
I always think of Grayson like
I think I would like EY, even though AY makes more sense. But
Grayson
that's fine.
like Robin from Batman.
Wow.
So my boy names are Oliver and Edward. Keeping it classic.
Oliver Twist.
Cute.
I like both of them. Oliver, yeah. I like names that start with vowels. I don't know why. Vowel names, I just like them. I like names that start with vowels, but I like Oliver. You can be Ollie when he's like a baby and Oliver when he's older. It's like a thing.
That's cute.
And then I like Edward. You can shorten it to Ned or Ed. I respect both of those.
I like the name Adrian. My mom's name's Adriana, so it works. Adrian. I also, okay, don't roast me. I really like the name Joaquin. Like Joaquin, but that one's
Joaquin
like... But it's
Consuelos.
not... Look, it's not... That's like, I feel like my child would suffer if I name my kid Joaquin.
I don't know. Joaquin's one of those names that they either rock it or they don't.
Yeah.
It's either a very like interesting kid or a very cool kid.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Depends.
With my luck, probably will be a weirdo. So, because I'm a weirdo. But let's see. I think that I also like... I really like Gabriel.
I have a cousin named Gabriel.
Gabriel. It's cute. I don't know.
Classy.
Yeah.
Archangel.
Who knows? You know, an archangel. Yeah.
Okay. We have such a better bag for boy names than we
know.
did for girl. We were
I
fighting
think
about
because
girl
I'm
names.
I
a
agree.
because girls, even if they have interesting names or whatever, they can pull it off more than a boy who's named something very out there.
Yeah. Also, wait.
Like,
I
they
want to
can.
detract. So, my stepdad's name is John, and I would never name a kid of mine John because I would not. But I would name the kid Juan, like as a middle name, or as like Juan something, like Juan Eduardo, or like, I don't know, like Juan Elias. I don't know. Who knows? But I know that's like very, very quintessential and stereotypical Hispanic name, but it has to be done at some point in my life. I would not be opposed to Oliver. What was the other one?
Edward.
I like Edward.
I think Edward's a classy name.
Don't.
You don't like Edward?
You don't like
don't.
Edward? Why not?
It's too classy.
Do you like
it's too,
Ned?
It's too stream like
Mainstream?
like English, like old English.
But do you like Ned?
I don't.
You don't like Ned?
Ned reminds me
That's
of, like,
just
Ned
so.
Stark.
That's another one of those like really old.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's like a style though. People like that. Like you seem to like older names. Like
I do like old
names.
stuff. That's if there's one thing all my names have in common, it's
Yeah,
they're
they're
old-fashioned.
old-fashioned.
But there's like a line between old-fashioned, but I also don't like too common of names
Yeah.
because like then everyone has your name. Like I would never name a kid Madison.
Yeah.
There's just a billion fucking Maddies walking around on this earth.
true.
You're not wrong.
Hmm.
I don't know. I
I like. What were yours again?
don't remember.
Adrian, Joaquin, and
Adrian, Joaquin, and I'm gonna change the last one. I'm gonna go with Elias. I like Elias.
Elias.
I liked Gabriel.
Gabriel. There's a
I
lot of
see.
good
I can't get
options
behind
here.
Elias, but that's because we know an Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like one of my cousin's middle names is Elias, but
I can't do Gabriel because
your cousin's
my
name is
cousin's name is
Gabriel.
Gabriel. It's creepy. But I do like Elias if I didn't know the Elias.
I would like Elias if I also didn't know an Elias.
I would choose it retroactively.
but
What
I
about-
can't
I
go
don't know.
back.
I don't know if I can get behind Hudson, my friend.
Okay.
I feel like it sounds like an old anchor man.
Yours were Hudson, Grayson, and
Jace.
Grayson, I think, is my favorite out of all of them, but
I can't get behind. I don't know. The only one I can get behind is Elias.
I don't like that.
what about? Also, I was talking to Naughty about this the other day. I've never met an unattractive Dante.
Oh, I do like Dante.
I like Dante.
I like Dante. I have also met Dante though.
I don't know if I could get behind Dante.
What about,
Okay,
like,
new name.
David?
that's-
Hell no,
I
hell
think
no.
that's a hysterical name for a baby, though. Imagine
Dante.
a
Inferno.
2-month-old baby like
Dante.
looks like a fucking potato.
Okay,
and
new
you're
name.
like, this is my baby Dante.
Throw out a new name.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of other guy names. Guy names. I like. Oh my god, I just like had a throat thing. I like Sebastian.
I like Sebastian. I can get behind that.
I like Sebastian.
No.
If my stepkid was named Sebastian, I'd be okay with
What
it.
do you mean your stepkid?
Like, I wouldn't name it, but if I had a kid in my life who was named Sebastian, that's okay. It just wouldn't be mine.
That's the most warped thing I've ever heard anyone say.
Wesley.
I can go with Wesley.
Wesley? You go with Wesley? You can't.
You know what?
I think this just means we're having a girl named Laurel.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Honestly,
Honestly, though, I'm okay with that, though, because I have no intention of having a boy.
my family would roast the shit out of me, but yeah, why not?
No intention of having a boy. I think what we've decided in this conversation is that we're not having boys.
I
Just
agree.
couldn't. We literally couldn't.
I don't know if I could ever raise a boy.
I don't
I
think I
want
could
a
raise a
boy.
boy either. Yeah,
I want one boy
I don't
and
want
3
any.
girls.
What?
What?
You gotta give us reasons.
Okay.
I just want one.
Why? Why do you want
That's
that many
4 total,
children?
though.
Holy
4?
shit.
Okay, I'm an only child,
Children
so
are
I
expensive. So am I.
decided that as much as like I was fine growing up as an only child, I think I would want the experience of 2, like, you know, because my mom has 8 siblings. It's just like fun. Like, it's fun to have a lot of siblings. I really don't know, but
Children are expensive.
Yeah,
It's
children
okay.
are fucking expensive.
so 1 is not enough. 2, I would feel the need to have a 3rd
Why?
because I just want a big family. 3 though is uneven. 4 I can settle with. It's
3
big enough,
is
but it's still
uneven.
like
See,
okay.
here's the thing. If for some reason I would intend on, depending on my partner, obviously, probably 2 kids. That being said, if for some reason I had 1 kid and then I had twins, I would have a 4th child because I would not be able to live with 3. I'd be
No.
unokay with 3.
I have a rule, like, or just like a life philosophy that I cannot have more than 2 children because then that's more children than parents, and I just cannot do that.
Yeah, they'll team up on you.
Yeah,
That's
I
not okay.
Cannot do that.
I think 2 is a good number.
I think 2 is good,
But
I
part
would
of
want
me,
2.
part of me always wished I had more siblings.
Yeah.
I have 1 sibling. I have a sister, and part of me always wishes I had more siblings because I think but it's for the reason that we totally would have been hooligans with my parents. Is why I wish I had more siblings.
I
'cause
mean,
we would've
I
had
think that's okay.
adventures.
Having been a child and annoyed my mom, even though I was the only one, I do understand that as annoying as heck as it is, I would want my kids to have those hooligan days. Like, I want them to have
Yeah, I
that
want them
for
to be
themselves.
shitheads.
So that's okay. If they want to be shitheads, they can be shitheads.
Yeah, I would
It's
never have
fine.
3 kids. It's 2 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Never 1 or
I
3.
need 4, but that's fine.
But I only want girls. Boys can fuck off. I don't want a boy.
I've also just seen a lot of families with 4 kids, and it's kind of the same thing where it's like, okay, 1, we want more. 2, they can either be really close or really far apart.
Yeah.
3 is kind of uneven, so one's always like, I'm close to the other one. The other one's kind of left out. But when I've seen families with 4 kids, they're equally like, there's always a nice like age gap too, to like the oldest one is kind of like
families I know with
I don't
4
know.
kids.
I think
I
4
don't know
is
if I
would
know
work
any
for me.
families with 4 kids.
But only 1 boy because I can't deal with that.
I think that I would want a
I don't want
boy
their
and a girl.
masculinity to
Just
offend me.
because I don't know. I think that's really cute.
I don't know. There's so many people
Should I
out
get
there.
a stage name? Now that I work in media, should I go by Brandy? Should we switch it up?
Should.
And I go by German.
I'll go by Remedios.
Well, you heard it here first. The names we were deciding were our own.
This has been another episode of Tinder Talks. Thank you, Mercedes, for coming on the show.
having me.
Thanks for coming on this weirdly long
Yeah.
and
I
circuitous
was
episode.
so That just made me realize I can never like name like I'm gonna do what my mom did, where my dad and her had decided on another name, and my dad was out of the country when I was born, so she just named me what she wanted.
That's
my
hysterical.
God.
And told my dad after, and she named me JC so that he wouldn't be mad.
Well,
What a queen.
I'm
With
gonna like
that-
go into labor, disappear for 3 days, be like, by the way.
by the way,
We have a Windsor now.
God,
I would do it.
you so
You
would.
heard it
That's
here
awesome.
first.
All right, to end this episode, we've got a new challenge for everybody. Our challenge this week is to reach out to someone we haven't talked to in a while.
Yes, this was a challenge from Mercedes, so we will do that in her honor.
I don't even
But I
know
also
who
want
I
you
would
to do
do
that.
Oh.
You do it, but look with a
Pronounce
friend, obviously.
uncomfortable.
Who is
Interesting.
someone I
Or,
haven't
I mean-
reached out to in a while?
Interesting.
Maybe for us, should we make it date?
How?
A date we haven't reached out to in a while.
No.
So maybe we
Oh my
stopped
God.
talking to.
No,
I would do it.
Oh my
because
God.
I've
This is
only
like-
had a certain amount of dates in my life, which means that I'd end up texting my ex-boyfriend.
This is like when my ex-boyfriend blocked me on everything, but then 3 months later, followed me on LinkedIn and then endorsed one of my skills.
Hey.
Same thing. Go on LinkedIn, everyone, and endorse one of your ex's skills.
Wait, I will do
That's
that.
incredible.
New challenge.
I will go and endorse someone's skill and say nothing about it.
That's so weird.
Go on LinkedIn and endorse one of your ex's skills.
I
Okay.
will. Oh, that's so funny.
Well, you can do either definitely tweet at us if you do the LinkedIn one, though. You can do either, but if definitely tweet at us if you do the LinkedIn one. How long ago is the person? Because like the challenge, right, is to reach out to someone we haven't talked to in a while. How long is in a while?
Like a couple months.
A couple months.
Like
okay.
just check in.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Wellness
I
check.
can do that. A wellness. Yeah, I can totally do that.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing too. Anyway, we will see you guys in. Actually, we're not recording for a while, but you're gonna still get episodes.
Wow.
We'll be back in September, starting strong.
Starting strong, stronger with our social media, especially.
Yes, we will
We
be. I
suck
really
so
will be. I
much.
really, really promise. Anyway,
You know what?
It's been busy.
We should get a social media manager.
Oh, we should.
We should just have someone do
Can I
it.
get an? I would be the dopest intern director. I can direct an intern. I know what I'm doing.
We should just get someone whose only job is to post on social media.
I like.
Well, if we're looking for applications, but if you want to manage our social media starting in September, submit an application to tindertalkspod@gmail.com. If you send a resume, send us a resume and a sexy story. We don't have an HR department, but if we did, that would be against it. Anyways, I'm Megan.
I'm Leica. And I'm Moots.
And I'm Moot. And you've been listening to Tinder Talks. We'll talk to you in September. Until
Bye.
then, bye. Windsor.
Dude.
Doesn't O'Neill want to name his kid fucking stupid as well?
Winter.
What?
So